What's going on, leaders, bosses, and owners? Welcome back to another episode of Society of Bosses. This episode is a little more special because now we're bringing you guys CBD Mondays, and I am so happy to bring you guys this information, to have professionals on that could, update you guys on what exactly is CBD, how can it affect your lives, and how can it affect you as a business owner, as a leader, and as a boss. So today we have a special guest. His name is Banning Donahue, and we're going to talk all about, how to stay energized and how to stay healthy, all while staying busy. So without further ado, welcome, Banning.
How you doing? Thanks,
How are
Taisha,
you
for having
today?
me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well. So
Excellent.
happy to, we've been talking, I guess, like over about a month. Has it been a month
Yeah, wow. I think it's already been a month at this point.
yet? Yeah. And I'm just so happy to, for Irvin to basically introduce us and to have you on the show. Today we're supposed to have Irving on the show as well, guys, but he's traveling, so if he's not unable to get on, we're gonna get as much as we can from Banning. So is
Perfect.
that cool with you, Banning?
Absolutely. Let's
Good.
rock and roll.
All right, that's awesome. So, do you mind, telling us, because I want the audience to get a little bit familiar with you. So can you tell us, like, who you are, what company you represent, and what is it that you actually do?
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Banning Donahue. I work for a manufacturer based in Los Angeles that specializes in custom vegan soft gel formulations. But our main focus is CBD and Delta 8 products. So I work for a company, Custom Capsule Consultants, and we sell under the brand CBD is better, Delta 8 is better, and soon to be Kratom is better as well. So maybe at some point I can hop back on and we can talk about stuff like Kratom as well. But so I kind of run the East Coast as much as possible. So I was working for, I guess, brief synopsis. I have about 12 years of experience in the wine and spirits industry. About 7 years managing stores, working in stores, and then another 5 years on the B2B wholesale side. So in April of last year, like 33 other million Americans, I lost my job. My position was deemed unworthy because I was the face-to-face contact with customers, representing a Burgundy house. And I kind of had that point where, no one really knew what was going on then. So it was a little interesting, but I had kind of this opportunity, although not really wanted, but I had this opportunity to say, you didn't like your job, so how can you get into a field that you enjoy? And I have always been a cannabis enthusiast. I've had cannabis in my life for 18 years. And, sitting back, and it's hard to have a dream in an industry that is illicit, because you can't really talk about it. Because the moment you talk about it, people either go oh, you're talking about being a drug dealer, or it's oh, okay, there's your fantasy world, you little hippie. And so, that was always kind of something that I had to keep in. So I had some opportunities. I went out west. I joined a conservation corps. I dug trails, search and rescue, wildland firefighting. And I was able to meet an incredible person there who is now my life partner. We have a 3-year-old together. and she's a really great inspiration. She's has that ability to actually communicate. So when all of this happened, I kind of said, listen, I'd really like to be able to pursue a career in the industry that I want to be in. If you're familiar with the laws that are changing in Connecticut and the tri-state area about recreational cannabis, I kind of started reading the tea leaves at the end of 2018 and said they might pass this pretty soon. So let me start paying attention. Let me keep my ear to the ground. So I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of business planning since the beginning of 2019. So when 2020 happened, I sat there and said, okay, well, let's see how realistic this is. So I kind of started putting my feelers out there, and I was approached by the CEO of CBD is Better, Robert Johnson. And he was like, hey, do you want to come on? We can do, I want you to sell this product line that we have and the newest line that we're bringing on, which is Delta 8 THC. Delta THC, I'll get into that in a little bit more detail in a minute. And so a couple of weeks later, he sent me some product, and I said, all right, let me check it out. And it was life-changing, and said, all right, I can get behind this. Again, I spent 5 years being a brand manager, so my whole world was focused on this. So I kind of started small. I just started driving in circles around my house and getting bigger and bigger in Connecticut. And so right now I have accounts in 4 states, ranging down all the way to Tennessee. And I just grow as big and as fast as possible. It's really a great experience to work for a startup company, because although you're in the second sub basement floor, the lights flicker, and the emails don't go through, and you're writing things on pieces of paper and hoping that people can read it. And then, you have to have 7 emails back and forth being like, you have terrible handwriting. I just don't know what you're trying to say. But once you start that low and you can build yourself up, it is really a wonderful experience to get not only to work for a company that, produces some of the best products you can find out there, but you get that opportunity to share it. When I was in school for chemistry and secondary education. I wanted to be a high school teacher. And when I left that to start in wine, I said, okay, well, I'm going to just stop educating high schoolers about chemistry, and I'm going to educate adults about wine. And the benefits of that is that at least all of the adults in a room that want to learn about wine are there because they want to learn about wine. I don't have to deal with that 16, 17, 18-year-old. I don't want to be here. When I'm just like trying to get you to understand something that like I know you're probably not going to listen to again. It's education first and foremost. And fact of the matter is, I kind of grew up in retail, and I don't really like salespeople. So, I had a mother who was one of the top salespeople in her company for close to 2 decades, and I watched that back and forth. And it was, the come home and the stories of just horrible, and it's like, man, why would you put up with that? And it's, that's what you kind of have to deal with. So I said, I'm not doing it that way. I don't like salespeople, so I'm not a salesperson. I'm an educator. I'm gonna teach you about my products. And not a lot of people, especially in this industry, they're not willing to do what I do. Mm-hmm. So I'll sit there, and how we met, I sat and talked to Irving for close to 3 hours. I met his mother. He came in. I shared information with her. It was a family affair. It was amazing. But I just don't think a lot of people are kind of willing to do that. So it's kind of building that relationship as organically as possible. And once you can educate somebody on what you have to offer, then all you're doing is providing the service. And that's kind of why I started initially, sending in orders. It shipped from LA, come over here, and there was just so much time lost between order and first time placement of product on the shelf. So I said, if I have product to sell, I just started selling all my samples. And then I would sit there and go, all right, well, here's customer A and customer B. And, customer A has to pay and wait, but customer B gets product on the shelf. Day 4 gets product on the shelf a second time because they've already run out. And now on the same day that A is getting the product for the first time, they're placing their third order. So I said, you just keep sending. So I've been able to kind of build a distribution center here on the East Coast, and my simple reasoning was I want to be able to provide the customer with the product as fast as possible. So I'm educator, I'm provider, I'm distribution, I'm marketing, I'm everything but the amazing scientists that put all of these products together. Yeah.
It's pretty dope how your previous education and experience actually brought you to this moment. Because if you went to school for chemistry, even with working with wines and drinks, that's chemistry. And then also working with a product like CBD, that's definitely chemistry. So that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
And then the education. So to me, it's like you're right where you need to be. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I try to live my life as much as possible where there are no failures. It's just learning opportunities. So I could sit there and say I've failed a whole bunch in my life, but I'd rather say that I've learned a lot. So as long as you sit there and you just treat every opportunity as a reason behind it, I don't have any regrets. And every time you start having that process, I can stop and look around and go, no, I'm good. I'm totally good. And butterfly effect. I don't need to change one day that I could have done better 15 years ago. That's because it's not going to do me any better.
Right. Exactly.
It's what you do in the future and then how you prepare for that. That's what's
right.
important.
And we talk about this a lot on this channel. It's like, it's the motivation, that goes behind, working hard and, putting your all into, what you're doing. So I definitely understand that. So I know you guys probably hear ocean in the background. I do apologize once again, but I'm a working mom. So I want to ask
Don't
you.
ever apologize for being a mother. Don't ever apologize for being a mother. You're a
Thank you.
superhero.
I appreciate that. So can you tell us a little bit about kind of want to get into it really quickly, a little bit about, Delta 8. Exactly how does Delta 8 differ from Delta 9 or the actual CBD, not to say CBD, the actual hemp or, cannabis that people are used to using that would usually get them high? What's the difference from that, and how is Delta 8 more healthier for that person?
Sure. Okay. So, you've got 3. Okay. You have THC up here, right? And then you have CBD and Delta 8. So, number 1, you have THC. That's cannabis, whatever you want to call it. So that is focusing on Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol. So that's THC for you. CBD is the non-psychoactive, one of the non-psychoactive cannabinoids that's found in cannabis or hemp. Again, a lot more now. The more states that have recreational and medical, you're getting, the opportunity to have scientists actually study this legally. So you're having this explosion of new strains, new methods. I mean, Delta 8. I mean, this is something that is months old, less than 2 or 3 years old. So what you're dealing with from CBD is the kind of non-psychoactive. That is the helping with joint pain, helping with some anxiety, could help with depression, could help kind of relax with sleep. Whereas the THC, that can also help with those things. It can help with creativity, all things like that. One of the main issues is the paranoia and anxiety that THC can bring on. So the main thing that's important when it comes to Delta 8 is the 2018 Farm Bill. So in the 2018 Farm Bill, that was the federal legalization of industrial hemp. Now, when they wrote this bill, they paid very close attention to Delta 9 THC. So that is the traditional THC that we hear about that comes in cannabis. They focused very closely on content of Delta 9 THC when it came to CBD products. That's why if you ever see a CBD tincture or really anything that contains full spectrum CBD, you are always making sure that you have less than the 0.3% Delta 9 THC content. That is what the lawmakers decided. 0.3, you would have to have X amount. People always try to get around that, where they make a lollipop that's half a pound. So I guess if you eat the whole thing, you're getting 10 milligrams weight wise. People were willing to do anything for it, but it's you can't get high off of it. That's really what they were fixated on. Now, that's on page 1 and 2, so on page 87, when you're looking at what it actually means to federally legalize industrial hemp, you are legalizing the process of extracting anything from CBD or the isolate naturally. That is now legal. There were studies on Delta 8. I think the earliest study I found was in 1995. It was a cancer research article from Israel that was looking at pediatric cancer patients, and they were using Delta 9 and Delta 8 THC to see what the effects would be on the anti-nausea and the appetite replacement. And it was found that Delta 8 THC was 100% more effective in the anti-nausea and the appetite replacement than its Delta 9 counterpart. So there had been studies about it, but at the time when the bill was written, you had to take, a kilo of biomass to produce half a gram, less than that, of usable Delta 8. So lawmakers didn't really pay attention to it, so they didn't write any content limitations for Delta 8 THC. Being a former, I want to be a chemistry teacher, don't tell a chemist they could do something if you don't want them to do it, because they'll figure it out. So what we figured out is that you can take CBD isolate and put it through a natural chemical conversion, and you can extract a Delta 8 THC. Now, there was an issue back on August 23rd of last year, August 23rd, 2020, that the DEA came out with a law saying that Delta 8 THC is Schedule 1 drug underneath the synthetic THC catalog. If anybody remembers Spice or K2 from like 2000, like mid 2000s, 2010.
Yeah, definitely.
Kids are smoking it and trying to bite each other's faces off or something terrifying. And that was actually about 2 weeks after I was brought on. And so we kind of shut everything down for a few days. And it's why you pay lawyers a whole bunch of money to take a look at everything, because again, when you sit there and read, and if anyone is truly interested in this and anything like this, take the time to read the bill. That will take hours, but it actually does kind of go through a lot, and again, the education behind it is key, because if you understand how to read laws, you can get away with a lot of stuff.
Right.
And again, I'm not talking about like cheating on taxes. Don't do that. But I mean, it's when a law is made, pay close attention, because if the people who are writing them aren't paying attention, then sometimes they miss things. And fact of the matter is, the DEA's job is not to subjectively view laws, is to uphold the written law. The written law says that we're doing everything above the books. So we pressed forward. So the reason that we're doing all of this, and I'm talking about this, is Delta 8 THC. Delta 8 THC, it is what is referred to as an isomer of Delta 9 THC. So it has the same chemical formula with a different molecular structure. I've said 8, 9. So what you're essentially referring to is, when you're looking at the molecular structure of THC, where you see a double bond in a main carbon ring is where the name is given. So Delta 9 THC, you are having the bond from the number 9 carbon to the number 10 carbon. Delta 8, you're having it from the 8 carbon to the 9 carbon. That means nothing to anybody.
Yeah, I was getting
someone
to
who
say,
is
like, is that like -1 less of
no. So
potency?
it's you're simply moving. You're moving atoms around in a molecule, but you're not adding any new ones, or you're not taking anything away.
Okay.
So that's what an isomer is. It's just a different structure. But what it is it is a cannabinoid that offers psychoactive properties. I think a lot of people who take CBD for the first time and might not know a lot about it take it, and at the end of it, when someone goes, "Hey, so how did you like that?" They went, "I don't know." I think a lot of people are expecting a Diet Coke of cannabis when they take CBD for the first time. That's not what CBD is. That's what Delta 8 is. Delta 8 is a THC cannabinoid that offers about 2/3 to 3/4 the psychoactive properties that Delta 9 bring to the table, except the paranoia and the anxiety, which are kind of like the two main negatives about smoking cannabis, or using cannabis rather. So I like to use the if anyone has used cannabis and have listened to this before, you will understand what I'm about to say. You start here, you go up here real fast, and then you kind of have to ride it out for like 15 or 20 minutes. You're not going to die. Don't worry. Don't go to the hospital. And then you kind of come back to here, and that's where you ride out. So Delta 8, you start here, you go here, and you continue. There is not that initial freak out moment that often bring that paranoia and those anxiety and those kind of negative issues that a lot of people face when using cannabis. So because of that, it is a much more functioning, much more clear-headed sensation. And again, that is great when you are wanting to use this more medicinally than recreationally.
Right.
Definitely some issues that I'll see on the street is, you talk to a customer and it's like, "Hey, so what'd you think?" And they're like, "Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was all right. I just, I didn't really get that high." And it's like, Well, yeah, I mean, what did you do? Oh, I mean, I just ate one gummy. Oh, okay. Do you use cannabis? Yeah, I'm high right now. Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, it's just like anything else. If you drink 9 cups of coffee a day and I show you this really interesting, Gayuza or yerba mate tea that has a fraction of the chemicals that are going to meet, then you're not going to understand it as much as I do, because I don't drink coffee. So, it definitely has everything, but there is also a certain point where, you know, you want to be able to be able to be at a certain level, but not go above that. And it's a way to have THC and cannabinoids that are giving that psychoactive property in your day-to-day life without losing that ability to function.
Right.
Everybody sits there and goes, yeah, I mean, I'm going to smoke a bowl so I can go get this done. And then 15 minutes later, when they're 4 feet away from where they packed the bowl and they're looking at their phone or staring at the ground, it's like, oh, actually, maybe that didn't help.
Exactly.
This is a little different. So I like to compare it as the cleanest sativa high you've ever had, without any of that paranoia and anxiety.
So for someone who is a leader like yourself, someone that's busy all day, they may, either they're working a 9 to 5 or they're entrepreneur where they're working 10 to 10 or 12 to 12, and then they have to come home to be a parent. Like, how does that work for them? Like, how does that keep them, and how does Delta 8 keep them, level headed, energized, does it allow them to have that creativity? And then how does rest play into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have the ability to stay clear-headed, stay focused, get a good night's sleep, be able to make sure you're putting all of your effort and energy into work, but then when you get home, be able to put the energy and effort where, you know, I get it. Work is important because you can't have everything around you if you're not willing to work for it. But if you can't come home, then why are you working?
Right.
If you can't come home and enjoy it, then why are you doing it all? So you know what Delta 8 and what CBD kind of brings to the table is that ability to kind of touch everything. We again, we're a soft gel manufacturer first and foremost. So when we started creating our line of vegan soft gels, we wanted to stand out from the crowd. Again, that's why we use vegan. Because not only is it incredibly hard to consistently make a good vegan soft gel hold together and be perfect, but what it does is it allows you to work with a median that is taken much more seriously. It's really hard to hand a gummy, like a gummy bear, to somebody and say, this is medicine. You might get some people are like, that's a gummy bear. That's not medicine. That's candy. I
Mhm.
told you I'm diabetic. I don't want to eat candy.
Right.
I just want help because my arm hurts.
Right.
Um, so, and then, one of the issues that I see a lot when I go into stores are you'll see a product that says this is good for focus. This is good for sleep. This is good for pain. And then when you look at the back, it's the same ingredients verbatim on all 4 products. And you go, well, that's like handing me a cup of coffee and saying, this is going to help you stay focused. It's going to help you sleep. It's going to help your pain. It's like, nah, it doesn't really make any sense. So what we did is we tried to take the subjectivity out of CBD. So, we, for instance, let's see here. CBD is better for focus.
Mm.
Um, I can say this and I can get away with saying this, because I put everything in here that makes you stay focused and stay alert and clear-headed, along with the medicinal benefits of 25 milligrams of broad-spectrum CBD.
Okay, wait, Banning. So what about? All right, so I know that it's an 18 or older product. But
Mm-hmm.
what about students, because I was in college, and what about students that take Adderall so that they can be able to focus and, get their work done? Is CBD better than Adderall?
So I am not a licensed physician, nor am I a licensed giver outer of drugs. Um, but so I definitely can't speak for anyone who is naturally prescribed anything like Adderall or Ritalin or Concerta or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, you just were talking about students, and you were talking about students who are using Adderall. So if you're referring to the illicit market of using Adderall and pills like that to get work done, yeah, I also remembered not getting work done and doing that too.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, it's hard to compete with pharmaceuticals using amphetamines, because I'm not doing that. But I can sit there and say, if you're gonna get a Red Bull, right? If you're gonna get a Rockstar, if you're gonna get an energy drink, you're getting that because you want to get a little pick me up, you want to stay alert, you want to stay focused, and you look on the back of that, and what do you see? You see caffeine, you see L-theanine, and you see B vitamins. I put caffeine, L-theanine, B vitamins, and 25 milligrams of broad spectrum CBD.
Mm.
So you get everything that makes you clear-headed, that makes you focused, that makes you stay alert, along with all of the medicinal benefits of broad spectrum CBD.
Mm.
The moment you look at CBD and Delta 8 as an ingredient rather than a finished product, you have the ability to make anything you want. And you take the subjectivity out of it. There is no, you need to take this for 4 months before it takes effect. If you start taking 2 pills in 3 days, you're not going to have to take 7 pills. You're going to feel the same way every single time you take it, because I put things in here that make sure you do that.
Right.
And that's what's important. And again, I have the ability to say CBD is better for sleep. You know why? Because there's melatonin in here, and there's denshin in here, and those are tested, proven ingredients that help you stay asleep faster, you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up the next morning more rested. Oh, and there's also 25 milligrams of broad spectrum CBD in here that's going to help you with your aches. It's going to help you with your pains. It's going to help you relax at the end of the night. It's going to help you, just be able to take that deep breath without feeling anything. Okay.
Wow.
Now, if you want to feel something, then you sit there and you start talking about Delta 8. Okay. So again, a really great way to kind of use things like this in a positive way, and not just in a recreational, it's trying to have something like Delta 8, THC, be able to be used the way the alcohol is used. I think a lot of people, when they're looking at cannabis, is, oh, well, I only smoke X amount, and so I only get this high. And it's like, all right, yeah, but that would be like if every time you drank a beer, you shotgunned that beer every time. And it's like, well, I mean, I don't really always want to do that. Or like you immediately start feeling drunk. You're at your drunkest 10 seconds after you start drinking. And so I think that's why you always have a little bit a difference of that. people can go home and say, I'm going to have a glass of wine, and they're not going to be intoxicated. I mean, don't get behind the wheel, but like, you're not going to, you are going to be at a certain level that is far below anything that would say you are incoherent. And so this kind of allows you to microdose a little bit. Sometimes you don't want to be that high. You want to be that high.
Right.
Because I still have a family. I still have a 3-year-old. I still have a teenager. I don't want to be passed out on my couch or playing on my iPad. I gotta like make dinner. I gotta work on my
Right.
kitchen. So
I have
um,
things to do.
I got things I gotta do. So
Yeah.
that's kind of when initially we came out with 25 milligram soft gels, and there was a point where, do we make a 50 milligram or do we make a 10 milligram? And because there are some people who it's just you metabolize everything differently, so sometimes edibles don't work as well. And then, they would take 6, 8, 10 of the 25 milligrams and be like, yeah, I felt all right. I mean, I guess like I was a little, good. And it's like, oh, I take one and I'm zooming.
Yeah.
And I take two and it's night night. So
So,
that's crazy. But the big thing was, it's easy to take 2 pills. You can't cut a soft gel in half. It's going to taste like Windex, and it just pours everywhere. And it's going to be a big old mess. Please don't do that. But when you sit there and go, all right, well, what if you can offer something that's 30%? So the people who take one and go, oh my God, that was too much. All right, cool. Here's now 33% of that. Oh, okay, now I get it. And I think for some reason there's this, I can smoke this much, I can take this much. Okay, cool. I'm not trying to win a contest. I just, want to have 4 minutes to myself before, after I get home and before I start making dinner, where I can just kind of go, and that's gonna, kind of mellow me out, keep me going, and that's it. It's you need to be able to recover,
yeah.
to keep going. You
So
can't
Ben,
sit there and keep burning the wick, because it's going to burn out really fast.
yeah. So Banning, so I have a few more questions for you. So
Sure.
now let's say, so as you know, we're all bosses and we're all busy and we all have a lot of shit to do.
Hmm.
So, with that being said, it's like we also have like a lot of entrepreneurs, but we have a lot of leaders who maybe lead other people's company,
Hmm.
and they probably have like drug tests. So
Hmm.
how is CBD with when it comes to drug testing, and then how is Delta 8 when it comes
Sure.
to drug testing?
So, bear of bad news.
Okay.
THC is THC. So no one is testing for Delta 8. They test for THC.
Right.
Now, when you're looking at broad spectrum versus full spectrum CBD, full spectrum does have trace amounts of THC. And again, that's kind of what we talked about in the 2018 Farm Bill. That's what they focused on. That's what they were fixated on, was the Delta 9 content, because that's what gets you high. You can smoke hemp all day, and you'll probably throw up before you feel anything. Actually, there's like 100% chance that you're going to throw up before you get high.
Uh-huh.
So I guess maybe you're going to get dehydrated or something, because you're yakking so much, but that's not really how that works. Um, so broad spectrum has no THC. And that was one of the main reasons why we came out with the CBD's Better line of soft gels using broad spectrum CBD.
Mm.
Because we don't want to just reach out to people who have the ability to use cannabis freely. I want to reach out to students. I want to reach out to doctors. I want to reach out to, you know, firefighters, EMT, police officers. And yeah, you know what? If you're on parole or you're on probation and you can't pee dirty, but you have a really hard time sleeping, then you can use this product too. That's okay. We're not, this isn't going to hurt you. This isn't going to put you someplace that you shouldn't be at because you just want to have a good night's sleep. But guess what? You can't take sleeping pills because if you do, you're going to pee dirty and then you're going to go back. So this gives you another opportunity to use something that can help you that isn't going to hurt you in the end.
I like that. So, okay. So what about, all right. So now, you have, when it comes to, cannabis, and everybody wants to be in the cannabis market, and whether that's, utilizing CBD gummies, making their own products. You even have chefs that are actually utilizing it for their food. So can you use Delta 8? Excuse me. Can you use Delta 8 for food?
So I have not done a lot of research when it comes to food.
Okay.
I am going to go ahead and say no.
Okay.
So again, the issue is Delta 8 THC is something that is naturally found in both cannabis and hemp in very, very small amounts. Um, Again, the way that we can create Delta 8 legally is the fact that we are not synthesizing anything. We are not creating something out of nothing. We are not creating just something that looks enough like Delta 9 THC that will bring on similar effects. What we're doing is we're saying, well, this is naturally found in the plant, and we can create it starting with something from the plant. So that's what we're going to do. You know, Delta 8 THC is not like CBD, CBG, other major and minor cannabinoids where you could say have a flower strain that is a 1-to-1 ratio of CBD and THC. It's going to get you a little bit high. There's enough psychoactive properties that'll get you, a little bit, but it's a lot of CBD as well. So you're going to get a lot of those CBD effects. You don't have the high Delta 8 content strains. So everything is extracted and then put into a distillate. And the distillate sort of tastes like Windex. So you don't really want to put that in food because it's going to make the food taste like Windex.
Right.
But again, it's so when I look at Delta 8, I view it more of a early riser to maybe a bit of a evening relax. I have a lot of the kind of get up and go feeling when I take Delta 8. So I personally wouldn't recommend it for something like sleep. I think it again, the positives of getting that brain function going, getting that creativity going. If you're trying to shut everything down, you're kind of waking up that machine that is trying to turn off.
Right.
So I think it's a great alternative to AM cannabis use, or just that that weekend warrior get up and go, or kind of that at the end of the day helps. You want to cook on Delta 8. Now we're talking about something good.
Okay.
Now we're talking about getting those creative juices flowing. Turn on some good music. You start messing with some spices, and everybody's gonna have a great time. But I think when it comes to sleep, I would probably look for, again, something like CBD is better for sleep because we actually put the things in there that are going to help you sleep. along with 25 milligrams of broad
Mm.
spectrum CBD.
Okay, so we have some people who are saying in the comments that they need something to help them sleep. So before you go, we have to make sure that we have all of your contacts, how they can reach you so that they can reach out to you and purchase your product.
Oh, absolutely.
But I have a question, another question.
Absolutely.
Um, it's all Delta 8 products because Irvin told us a few weeks ago that all CBD products are not created equal, meaning if we were to go to a smoke shop and they're selling CBD products, like basically what to ask in order to know if that product is official and if it's not, made with other products in it. So when it comes to Delta 8, is it the same way? Is all Delta 8 products created equal, or is there something that we should ask for or look at as far as the ingredients to know if this is not K2, for instance? You know what I'm saying?
Sure. So, absolutely. Delta 8, not all Delta 8 is created equal. And just like CBD, I guess I'll put it into perspective for you.
Okay.
Um, when the CEO of our of CBD is Better, Robert Johnson, started working with CBD back in 2009, he purchased his first kilo of CBD isolate for $85,000,
Mm,
and it was negotiated down from $100,000.
mm,
That was to help create soft gels that he created that were 50 milligrams of CBD that he would sell for $50. Right now, you could buy a kilo of CBD isolate for about $320. So you have created a market that is so lucrative. And obviously there was a spike and now it's come back down. But now with this kind of birth of Delta 8 THC really within the last year, I mean, I will still talk to people in certain places where they don't even know about it. And you'll go to somewhere else and they sell six figures a year in their store. That's 400 square feet of Delta 8 products.
wow.
And everything in between. It's so, because you have something that is so lucrative, you have a lot of people who don't do it right. There's a lot of companies that are just started, and it's the mixing crap in a bucket in your basement, and yeah, everyone can go on to Alibaba and buy empty vape carts, and you get them right from the same two factories that create all of the vape carts you have ever seen in your entire life. You're just skipping 4 steps, so you're saving a lot of money. And unfortunately, it's kind of like in when people say, "Oh yeah, I've grown pot before." Oh, okay, cool. So you put a seed in the ground.
Right.
Good job.
I was
That
gonna
doesn't.
make a
It
joke.
doesn't.
I was
That,
gonna say all drug dealers aren't created equal, but then I don't know how that's gonna look for this.
no, no.
Yeah.
We're gonna yeah, we're move that to like the late night section. Um, I don't need to get in trouble or anything. You get in trouble,
Me neither.
but it's just because you put a seed in the ground and you let it grow and then you cut it down and then you dried it and then you smoked it doesn't mean that you can grow pot. That just means that you did you did 4 things. Um, you know, the moment you see a beautifully grown bud of cannabis, you're like, oh, I get it now. I get it. I don't know what I'm doing. This person does.
Yeah.
Um, but that doesn't mean that you don't have a lot of people who just throw seeds in the ground and let it grow and then chop it down and sell it for cheap because they can still make a boatload of money. And that doesn't mean that those people don't do things where, they have to get it across a certain border and they jam it into a gas tank. So now you have petroleum soaking into that flour, and now you're just going to sell it.
Mm.
Okay, so that's kind of where it is. There's a lot of hot products out there. There's a lot of false products. I'm not going to name any names, but when we first started producing Delta 8 gummies, I kind of tasked myself with getting my hands on as many competing products as possible and sending them to third-party labs. And again, when it comes to purchasing these products, what you are looking for is a three-letter acronym: COA, Certificate of Analysis. If you want to put something into your body, you should make sure that you're putting in the best thing. And if you want to not do that, that's fine. We all can't afford the best thing. That's completely understandable. And again, that's why, we do things where, can you get a 30 count bottle of Delta 8 for $60? Yeah, you can. You can also get a 2 count little sampler pack for $5. And I'll have store owners say, oh, I want to drop the price down. I want to put it to here. And I'm like, man, if you can afford $5, come on.
Yeah.
Listen, I have also eaten out of dumpsters too, but like, it's $5, man. I mean, go and work for an hour and someone will give you $5 and you can try this. So it's not just the elite of the elite. It doesn't just mean the one with the biggest price tags, the best. And unfortunately, especially when you're looking at some CBD products, sometimes the most expensive ones are the ones that just haven't changed their profit margins, where they're not like 3,000%. So it doesn't just necessarily mean, the one that is super expensive. It's the one that's the most legitimate. It's the one that you can find a paper trail that says, oh, someone with DR period in front of their name created this, not Steve in his garage with Jeff. It's a little bit more than that. That's kind of what we're shooting for. And again, we have an amazing CSO who has her doctorate and PhD in pharmacology. And she's been doing this for over a dozen years at one of the highest levels you could be at in the world in this industry. And she's a wizard, pretty much. And you have a lot of companies that do that. I'm not going to sit here and try to portray that, everything's bad except my product. No, there's a lot of really good products out there.
Right.
And if you're going into a good reputable place, it's not hard to find good product. And, it's again, when I first started going out, I was selling, for instance, gram vape cartridges. I was selling them for $25 and stores were selling them for $50. And I would walk in and say, hey, this is what I have. These are the products. This is the price. And the guy turns around and he grabs a cart off the shelf and goes, this is a gram cart that I bought for $6 and I'm selling it for $15.99. So what am I going to do with yours? And it's like, I guess not buy it, because you're like $10 below my cost. So it's like I can't compete with that. And it's not my job to tell somebody that, why is it that much? Because I have done that before, and it's like, well, where'd you get that from? What distributor you got it from? Oh, I got it in Brooklyn. Just Brooklyn? Just like, yeah, from my guy in Brooklyn. Oh, okay. Did you have a COA? Oh, yeah. Can I see it? Well, I don't have it here. Okay, cool. I can go to Brooklyn and buy heroin. That doesn't mean I can sell it in a store. So like, and again, we're trying so desperately to bring this into the light. Everybody in the cannabis industry just wants to be able to pay taxes on the money that they make. I don't want to have to look over my shoulder anymore. I just want to be able to do my job.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what's important. So it's trying to take this as seriously as possible. And you know, again, you got to do that with yourself. If you're going to use a product, do research on it. You know, I'm before I get off, I'm going to give you, you know, my website and my promo code, and you guys can check everything out. And I hope, and you know, I'm gonna leave my email address. Please email me with any questions, any comments, any
Yeah.
concerns. We'll try to break it down further for anybody who is interested. If you can't tell, I can definitely talk for a little bit. So if you've got ears and you're interested, I'd be more than happy to share more information with you
Yeah.
guys.
But you're
Uh,
so knowledgeable. You know,
no,
you
thank you.
yeah.
And I just like I want to be able to break it down so someone can understand it, even if they've never heard of CBD before, even if they've never heard of THC before. And honestly, even more importantly, if you have heard of THC before and you have a really negative connotation about it, because this is an amazing tool. This allows you to step away from certain things and gain some of the effects from it, but you're not getting here every single time. It's not that getting here is bad. It's just if you can do whatever you need to do and you only have to get here, you just get it's just better for you. It's
Right.
just healthier for you. And it's way less expensive for you too. FYI, you plateau really fast when you get high. So 4 or 5 puffs in, you ain't getting any higher.
Yeah.
You're just wasting. So if you can sit there and kind of control, and then these products can help. And honestly, even if you're a heavy avid everyday smoker, I smoke cannabis every day. These products are incredible. And it just gives you that ability to microdose something.
Mm.
um, and it's, you know, it's do research. And if you go into a shop and you go into a store, ask for a COA. It doesn't matter if I'm selling to the cleanest, most boutique CBD shop in Greenwich, Connecticut, or if I'm selling to the gas station a mile down the road from my house. Every single person I sell product to has a COA of my product. So
Mm.
again, it's I think sometimes, you know, convenience stores, you know, they might get a bad rep, and you know, everything on their shelf is crap. Everything on their shelf is bogus. Not really, not all the time. Um, just ask for a COA. You're probably more likely to get a COA from a vape shop, from a smoke shop, from definitely from a CBD shop. Um, but I mean, ask. It's a really easy question.
Wow.
Do you have a COA? And honestly, I think you'd be surprised how many times there isn't one. Now, that also doesn't mean that that product is bogus. This might mean that that company didn't send them one. I choose to make sure that if someone asks my customer a question, they have an educated answer on it. Um, Even if they can't do anything more than hand them the piece of paper and both of them can look at it and go, I don't even know what this means. What does it mean? You know, and it's so that's what you can do. And it's, you know, it's that help with pain. It's that get those creative juices going. It's that, you know, be able to bring you high enough to feel good and still stay functioning and still be on the ball.
So, guys, you heard it here first. You definitely heard it here first. If you know the difference between CBD, the difference between Delta 8, how you can utilize this throughout your day, throughout your week in order to help you become a better person. Even if you're just, you know, you're smoking cannabis and, you know, you like that, Delta 8 seems like a, you know, another option for you to try that can also be beneficial for you and not get you as high if that's what you like to do. For those who are looking for something, I see we have people talking about sleep. We have people talking about arthritis in the comments. I believe Banning is going to point you to the way of just regular CBD, correct?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think, with the THC properties in Delta 8, I do use it when I have issues with, an old torn rotator cuff or an old dislocated shoulder. That is really helpful. And again, sleep. That's when you're looking at these little pups right here. They're fantastic. And again, I'm not saying this is going to help you sleep, because sometimes CBD can make you feel a little sleepy. They're going to help you sleep because sometimes CBD can help you feel a little sleepy, and there's melatonin in it and there's tension in it. So you're
Mhm.
definitely going to pass out, and you're definitely going to stay asleep, and you're definitely going to wake up the next morning going, wow, that was a really nice sleep.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially for people that are up and
Yep.
busy throughout their day
And
and going
and
and
and and again, it's to be able to kind of create that good balance.
yeah.
You need everything. Again, what's good about balance? Uh,
Ooh,
vitamin D. You know what? Not a lot of people get when they're locked inside all day, every day.
vitamin
Vitamin
D.
D. You know what really helps when I'm stressed out or I had a really great day? Maybe you have a couple of drinks. Maybe you have a couple of drinks too many. You know what helps with that? CBD is better for hangovers. Do you know why it's better for hangovers? Because we put everything in here that's good for hangovers. What do you do when you're hungover? You have a cup of coffee. There's caffeine in here. You know what you do? Wait a minute. There's borage oil in there. That's been used for thousands of years to help. There's acetaminophen in here. Do you know what you do when you're hungover? You take Advil. And
I love it.
listen, everybody wants to enjoy themselves at night. When you can shut the lights off low, you can be with the person you love, and you can have some good times. You heard it here.
Come through,
CBD
Bannon.
CBD is better for boners.
Guys,
Okay?
did you hear this?
And do you know why? Because we put the ingredients that the other blue pill puts in theirs, so it works. Hey, hold on a second. We've
Okay.
made them for the ladies too. Okay? And once again, we make sure that you have everything in there that actually increases blood flow, that are natural aphrodisiacs. Just look it up. Ready to go.
I love it, Bannon. Thank you. So, how can the audience, reach out to you? How can they get? You want them to have your email? Do you want to give
Yeah,
them your
absolutely, absolutely.
social
It's
media?
everything. Again, I'm assuming there will be something written about this, but
Definitely.
you want to email me? It's my first name, Banning, Banning .Donahue, my last name Donohue at cbdisbetter.com.
There we go.
You
There
guys want
we
to check
go.
out the website? It is cbdisbetter.com. Check everything out. We are manufacturers of soft gels first and foremost. We have vape carts, we have flour, we have gummies that are some of the most delicious gummies. They're the Haribo of cannabis gummies. Again, our CSO Katarina, she is the gummy guru, and they
Mm,
are delectable. Uh, Tinctures, and soon to be kratom soft gels as well.
mm.
That we could even get into a little bit at a later date.
That's awesome. Thank you,
Uh,
Ben.
so
You
yeah, again,
well.
Go to the site,
Someone put it
cbdsbetter.com.
in the comments,
If you
cbdsbetter.com. There we
if you
go.
want to use my promo code, it's Banning, my first name, Banning. I get it. It's ironic. We're talking about pot, banning pot, banning CBD. I know. I know. It's funny. It's funny, but we have to get over it. Banning 20, and you get 20% off your order. And again, please email me. I'd be more than happy to share any of the knowledge that I have with you guys. Any questions that you have, please.
Thank you, Bannon. Thank you for sharing the discount code as well. So,
Absolutely.
guys who have arthritis, having issues with the sleep, I've seen in the comments, definitely you might want to go to cbdsbetter.com. It's actually on the screen right now. And you can get a promo code, which is right there, Banning 20, and that gets you 20% off. So we will definitely bring Banning back another time because, as you see, he has a wealth of information and he's very knowledgeable. And this has just been totally amazing. We started CBD Mondays because of Banning and Irving, so I'm just so grateful for them. Thank you once again for blessing our show with your presence, and for giving us some education on CBD and some education about Delta 8, because I know a lot of people have never heard of Delta 8 for a fact. So,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much, Taisha, for having me on. This was a pleasure. I'm super excited to do this for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I hope that I didn't scare anybody away because I talked to
No. You're
don't worry.
awesome. You're definitely awesome. So,
Thank you.
guys, if this is your first time on Society of Bosses, if you are actually watching this from my Instagram, my Facebook, which is my regular Taisha Williams, I need you guys to go over to Society of Bosses on every social media and hit a follow, hit a heart. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, and we're on Instagram. We're everywhere. So definitely go hit a follow or definitely share this information with someone who you think can help. This can help. So thank you so much, Banning. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Good night.